That is called You No See Me. Well, you can see me, but who can't you see? Well, the first idea that comes to my mind is perhaps the spirit. And for the average Joe, um, any idea about spirit is pretty much hocus pocus, you know, something they believed in the medieval age. And certainly there is no such thing as spirits on this planet. Is science proves that there are no spirits. So don't be ridiculous and talk to me about spirits. But if there were spirits, poltergeists that you see in movies like the movie Poltergeist, those poltergeists are, I can't remember in the movie, maybe at times certain psychics could see them, but for the average Joe, you're not going to see a poltergeist. You might hear it, or you might see the results of the poltergeist getting into your kitchen cabinet and throwing a bunch of food on the floor. Okay, I'm going to use a different hat. Okay, this is a different hat gives me a different perspective. So if I change hats, then I'm just giving a different flavor to my talk. Now, this particular hat, its flavor is navy blue, and navy is a branch of the armed forces that generally operates on water. I don't want to talk too much about Solar Warden and the secret space program. That I don't want to talk to you about that. But if I was going to, apparently the Navy has a branch that is not floating on water or using submarines underwater. They're actually using ships that go through space. And we're told that the Navy is not the only branch that has got a space program. How many branches have got space programs? I don't know. But, I would assume they all do, just so we don't leave anybody out or something. Does it mean the FBI has got a branch in space? Could be. In other words, if the corporations that are active in space are using U.S. law courts, well, then I guess the courts are going to need branches of the, let's go with current administration in space. I didn't want to go too much into government because there's a lot of questions as to the legitimacy of the current administration. If Donald Trump said that it's rigged, folks, and he did in his first election campaign, then how legitimate is our democracy if it's all rigged? Why did he say that? He said it over and over and over again. If you don't understand English as a first language, rigged means it's not honest. It's not an honest election. And he kept saying it. Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a candidate for president keep saying it's rigged, folks? Why would a I'll leave that one with you. This hat, it's like the OK symbol. Donald Trump is shown making this sign, and some people say it's a 6 and another 6 and another 6. But in the olden days, this was called AOK. So is he giving us the sign of like 666 the beast, or is he going okay? This one on my hat is fingers are kind of up and like that. It's hard for me to do, but that's the way it is. So is that okay? I mean, if you had like difficulty doing that and you just did okay and you kind of turned your hands, it looks like 666. So is that an intentional 666, or is that just, I don't have a great mobility in my hands and I just meant okay? What's the point of this? I don't know. This hat is a yellow hat, and yellow is the color of cowardice. What's cowardice? Well, look it up. Most people are going to know. Cowardice is basically people who don't have courage. This hat says NIG 2017. If you change this one, the N, to an H, this is the first thing that came to my head. Change this N to an H and you get Haig. And forget about this number, Haig. The most famous American with the name Haig was a general, Alexander Haig. He worked for Richard Nixon. I think he was the chief of staff. I'm not sure, but he did work for Nixon, and he also worked for Ronald Reagan, and he might have been in the same position for Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan was shot in an assassination attempt, the vice president wasn't at the White House, but Alexander Haig was, and he is famous for going on TV and saying, basically, everything's okay, I'm here and I'm in charge. And then a lot of newspapermen said, General Haig, on the pecking order, according to the U.S. Constitution, you're way down the pecking order. In other words, you can't be in charge. Just because you're at the White House and you're on camera, it doesn't make you a replacement for the president. There is a definite seniority, and you have to follow that. So people were kind of going, you've been working for presidents for a long time and you don't understand the U.S. Constitution? What else can I give you? We're going to go back to nothing in particular. Let's just pretend that I've got green and orange. What colors are green and orange? These are famous colors of Northern Ireland. Ireland itself is green, but if you add in orange, that's Northern Ireland because it has to do with history. And there was one monarch from Britain who also had territories over on the mainland. His name was William of Orange, and he was a Protestant. And the troubles in Northern Ireland had to do with the fact that Northern Ireland was about half Protestant and half Roman Catholic, while Ireland, the main country on the other side of the border, was predominantly Roman Catholic. What does it all mean? Well, it's kind of ancient history, but I'm not going to go any further than to tell you that history is important. If you don't really study history, and if your people in your country don't study history, then you're doomed to repeat it. And human history is doomed because it was nothing but endless wars, Holocaust, Holocaust was a genocide of Jewish people by Nazi Germany and their allies. Millions, we're told, died. Why is this an issue now? Because in the state of Georgia, there are some monuments known as the Georgia Stones, which basically claim that the human population is way too high and it needs to be really, really, really reduced. And you don't see me, but the people who want to reduce the population apparently want to do it now. How did they want to do it? Well, there's a lot of speculation. You probably can go on the internet and look into various conspiracy theories as to how it's supposed to be happening. I do this to see if these hats have anything more they want to say to you. This hat says, if you're a coward, you're basically going to poo-poo what I'm saying. In other words, you're going to call me a tin hat kind of person, conspiracy theorist. It means you're a coward. Why? Because a real patriot would listen to people's claims that there is something going on. A real patriot would always be vigilant for his country and for his countrymen. A real patriot would definitely take it serious when people, many, many, many people are claiming that there is a nasty thing going on the planet right now, multiple nasty things. And a real patriot would get very good at doing research on these claims. But if you're a coward, then you're just going to say, it's a conspiracy theorist, and you're going to go back to whatever you were doing. But a real patriot would say, my country is important to me, my countrymen are important to me, and the planet that I live on is very important to me, and the human species is very important to me, and you would make it your number one priority to dig in and investigate with open eyes, not with, it's all conspiracy theory and I can, go with the people who are saying that you're all crackpots, because you're supposed to be vigilant for your country. And if you're a coward, it means you're chicken shit to do the work. And you're not fit to be in the country that you're living in. Why do I say that? Because you're a coward. You're afraid that if there's any truth in it, that you're going to have to grow some balls. And when you do grow balls, what exactly are you going to do about all of these claims that people are making? Are you going to pray to Jesus? Don't be a coward.